right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of Bullets, Barbells, and Barbecue. I'm your host, Brett. I got Chris, the artist formerly known as Heavy C. We got Matt, Deuce here, and Tanner is also still not here.
Where's the applause?
Oh, shit. There's a short applause for him. We got our show partners, Elite Nutrition Omaha. Check them out at elitenutritionomaha.com. Use code B3 at checkout for 10% off. You can go to the store in Lincoln or Omaha and yell B3.
Get a free shaker.
We also have Rosewood Block to make the best cutting boards and barbecue, fully customizable. We have ours right here on the table if you're watching us on the YouTubes. They make gigantic briskettiers and all different sizes. Check them out at rosewoodblock.com. Use code B3 at checkout for 10% off there.
I keep meaning to send a picture to you guys because, like I said, I have that one. Use it at least twice a day, if not more, to cut all kinds of stuff. I haven't oiled it in a couple months, and it still looks fucking great. I mean, it's a little dried out. It needs to be oiled, but
I haven't oiled this one, and like I said, I cut it with a serrated knife, which was not my best move. But
yeah, I've done it a couple times. Like you did, I generally tried not to do chicken on it, just because chicken's really juicy and like that juice will actually like get in there and get gross. So the other day, before I did this, and I could use two hands, I cut up the chicken and then scrubbed it down with soap and water to make sure I got all like the chicken juice out of it, and it still looks pretty fucking solid. It does need to be oiled. It's a little dry out, but it hasn't cracked or anything.
yeah, I mean
they're fucking money.
They're pretty stout.
Yeah,
boards.
but I do think I'm going to pull the trigger on some, at least one, if not a couple, prep boards for like doing chicken. And like if I cut a bunch of peppers and onions, like those are real juicy, and they'll soak in and they'll like get the board kind of wet and softer, so it's more apt to damage.
And like for any other the prep board, like this board I have is probably 2 inches, probably 2 inches thick. The prep boards I think are like maybe an inch, and then they're a little bit smaller in size, so you can put them on top of your main board if you want to. Like you'll see Matt Pittman does that with Meat Church, and he'll do all the raw stuff on there. They're a little bit easier to wash and handle.
Yep.
And then you can go with, like this one we have on our table is the briskettier size, and it'll fit like probably like a fucking 20-pound brisket on there.
Yeah.
And it's got the juice grooves on the side to catch any of your leakage.
Yep.
But that's the big thing is most like cutting boards are really hard to fit briskets on.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do some work.
The briskettier.
Yep.
Yeah, I have the straight American flag briskettier at home with no customization, and then the other 2 boards I have are customized. So
It's the inlay's super cool. Like it's tough to see probably on video, but like the inlay detail on there is legit.
yeah, and like the stars. I mean, the stars are all perfect on the flags, like with the fill-ins. Do you use yours, or is yours a showpiece?
I use it. Yeah, not as much as I use the regular ones, but it is kind of a showpiece. It just hangs out there.
That's what we have. One that's a showpiece. I bought one they had like sometimes you go on their site and they'll have their like kind of in their warehouse or whatever they call it in their kind of clearancey ones, and it's a bunch of different kinds of wood, so it's all different kind of colors.
Oh, yeah.
It's a smaller one and they just have our name on it, and that's just kind of a showpiece. And then I have like the massive, like biggest one they make with the boat cleat handles in my basement with the Omaha Barbell logo on it. It's like obnoxiously large and it's super heavy.
It's a nice charcuterie board.
We have used it for that.
Yeah.
But Matt's got a poop story, I guess.
I do.
Is it because you only have one hand to operate with?
No. Well, kind of, maybe. It might be.
Well, yeah, like Coach Jax yesterday was like, when you were taking a shit and we were doing some stuff, he was like, dude, do you think it's okay in there with just one hand? I go, that's his good hand. He goes, well, doesn't he use his other hand to sit down or get up? I go, what the fuck is wrong with you? You can't stand up? You got to grab the fucking bar to get up? Jesus, man. We're not fucking 90.
Yeah.
He's like 24, but he looks like he's 55. I guess he's living in
Yeah, it wasn't all fucking Father Ross. What are you, 49?
What did we call him, like 27 going on 49?
Yeah.
Or something?
Because he goes, oh no, and Derek takes his hat off, and it's like, oh, he's definitely 49. I was like, put your fucking hat back on.
Yeah, when he was like, man, you think it's that one hand's? No.
Oh.
No, and there's no grabber bars in that bathroom anyway.
No, it was a high volume poop.
Yeah.
So I had to wipe, and I'm a big safety flusher, right? If I feel like it was a good amount of poo that came out, I'm a safety flush.
Yeah.
and do that because I don't want to.
You don't want an overflow.
I used to always get up and look at it first in case it was like a masterpiece prize winner, but now I just flush it.
Yeah,
and
now
keep
I'm just
moving.
like, it's fine.
My
You can
dad-
also tell by like the consistent, like how it feels.
My dad always used to come out of the bathroom and just say, if black were beautiful, I just shit a masterpiece. Guy's basically a scholar. So, yeah, on to your poo story.
Yeah, so I wake up to take a pee, and I'm struck in the nose by this overwhelming smell of shit. And I'm like, awesome. One of the dogs took a dump somewhere in the house. This is neat. So, like, no shoes, right? So you have to make the first treacherous walk from the bed to the light to, like, without stepping in poo that might or might not be in the bedroom. So I found my phone, got it on, nothing there. Get out, close the door, nothing in the living room, nothing out there. And I'm like, sweet. So the only place that's left is our sunroom, where we usually lock up our shepherd at night so he doesn't bark at night at the raccoons and stuff. And yeah, there is a gigantic pile of shit out there. Like a gigantic pile. I don't know how he had so much shit in him, but now it's not. And it's on the ground in its own little lake of poo diarrhea. And I'm like, this is cool. And
But now that's not carpeted.
no, it's
Okay.
like a linoleum stuff. So that's not too bad, but I still got to pick it up. And I'm like, this is cool.
With a shovel.
This is great. So I bring the trash can out there, and I get one of the old barbecue gloves, and I slip it on my hand, and I just start picking up poop. So I get it picked up. I spray it down, wipe it up, go to bed. Get up to pee again, punched in the face again with an overwhelming smell of shit. And this, I did let him out. I'm like, hey, get the fuck outside. Finish whatever's left, come back. So he had more poop, but this time it was just straight ass pee. So there's like,
Oh, he must have got into
You
something.
got a level floor in there?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, you don't want a slopey floor. That's a bad
No.
deal for
So
diarrhea.
it smelled like he had diarrhea on top of a dead animal and then ate that diarrhea with the dead animal and then shit that out again. And so I'm in
Wow,
here
that's a very descriptive.
trying to like scoop this stuff up again this morning at 6:30 or so. Got the glove, doing that stuff, and I have like the pre-puke like saliva, like when you know you're gonna throw up and like your mouth gets real watery, and so I'm just gonna puke everywhere. And I'm getting this stuff done, put it in the trash can, and then I sneeze, and like by default when you sneeze you do one of these things, and I do one of these things, and I had shit on the back of my hand that's now on my upper lip. And so I'm thinking that the whole place just smells that bad with shit. So I'm like getting it picked up and I'm cleaning. I'm like, oh, it smells bad out here. And I take the glove off and I get a fan going and I get back in there and I'm in the kitchen and I'm like washing this hand. I'm like, oh, it smells like shit so bad. And I go like this and I realize that there's shit on my thumb now. And I'm like, so I wash my
At least you
hand.
don't lick your lip.
Right, and I've got like one hand trying to like wash my face off with soapy water and get it like not on the rest of me because I don't know how much is up there. It
Oh,
was
man.
ucky.
What a good morning.
It was very ucky. And then I mopped it up and we cleaned the rest of it. But
We
gross.
So Amber and I went to Denver last weekend for Drew's fight, and I just realized Denver's not my city.
Denver probably smelled like that, too.
Denver's food fucking sucks balls. I don't care what anybody says. Sucks. They don't season anything. Drew's been telling me this for years. Went there, sucked balls. But it's just fun. We stayed at a Spring Hill Suites by Marriott because it was like literally like across the street from the arena.
Nice.
And it's nice because you know that Amber and I have been married long enough. She goes in and she goes to the bathroom and flushes the toilet. She's like, that toilet's pretty powerful. It'd probably take a decent sized shit in there.
Good to know.
Yeah, because every time you go on vacation, you know, it's like, well, I'm probably going to fucking clog this. Because hotel bathrooms have like the worst plumbing. But she's like, yeah, you should probably be okay in there. Like, I was like, she's looking out for me. And little, like, you know, Drew, obviously, there was a medical stoppage. His eyebrow split open. But it was so cool because watching Drew come up through like the victory fights in Omaha, and you know, Drew's a super likable guy. And I remember when we go to the victory fights, people would start like, you know, chanting his name, and you know, down at like Ralston, it's not a very big arena. We were at Ball Arena in Denver, which is where the Avalanche play. I think there was 20-some thousand people there. And that place went fucking crazy for Drew, and they were all fucking chanting his name. So that was pretty cool to see him at that level where like they just fucking loved him there. It was super cool to see. So, but that was my Denver story. The food all did suck. Yeah. So
I remember watching Drew fight out Mid America Center.
Yeah,
back in the early days.
Yeah, so it's cool to see like 20-some thousand people.
Yeah,
just going crazy for him, but. Then he got fight of the night, which is cool. I mean, because he's always going to put on a show.
Right.
Win or lose.
Fucking entertainer.
Win or lose, you're probably going to be entertained. If it's up to Drew, you're going to be entertained by his fights.
Yeah. That's unfortunate about the food. I got to go there this week for work.
We went to this diner, and it's supposed to be like, it's been there for like 100 years. They're like, oh, it's the best breakfast burritos. And it was just like a tortilla just like wrapped around a bunch of sliced potatoes that were unseasoned.
Sounds great.
Yeah, and we went to Drew's over to his house and checked that. I hadn't seen it yet since he got it, and he made us lunch there. And I was like, "Dude, you're right. This is like the land of fucking bland. This fucking food sucks."
Even the food he made?
No, he made really good food. Okay. He's like, "Dude, I've been telling you." And then a buddy of his who's like, they've lived in Colorado for quite a while too, and they were like, "Oh, dude, the fucking food here is terrible. Like, it's never fucking like." After the fights, we went back to the hotel, and they had like a little store thing in there. And they had like a microwavable DiGiorno pizza. And that, to that point, was the best food we'd had the day that we had been there. We got there Saturday morning. That was Saturday night. And we ate 2 different places on Saturday. So the next morning, we walked to Starbucks because at least you can like count on that the food's going to taste like something. And then that night, we went and ate with Drew at his house. And then that night, we fucking DoorDash Shake Shack. Because, that's going to be good. And then we fucking left the next morning.
But otherwise, like, no more local food from Denver.
Both of them were fucking not good. I mean, I told Amber, I go, this is some white people shit here. There's no seasoning on any of this food.
Barely even salt and pepper?
No, they don't. Amber's like, yeah, I had to put salt on everything.
Oh.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I mean, the mountains are cool.
Get it together.
I'm not an outdoorsy, hikey person. So, yeah.
But still, like, they could have decent food.
Yeah.
Keeps the bears away.
They probably just fine tune their fucking marijuana skills instead of the food, I guess.
Yeah, then nothing tastes like anything anyway, right?
Yeah,
that's true. I am wondering because it's a bunch of like it's an all company work event that we do. We do 2 a year where the entire company gets together, and so this one is going to be in Denver, and so I'm wondering how many people are just going to smash some edibles, just get ripped.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting.
Yeah, it's really helped the homeless population in Denver, like just not grow at all. It's fuck, dude, it's bad.
Is it really? That's
yeah. Like Drew lives outside of Denver a little bit, and he was just like, dude, downtown's just gotten so bad.
I was there maybe like 8 years ago. It wasn't.
I mean, none of them bothered us. We walked by a few, and they don't bother you. They're not
high.
Yeah, nobody's asking for money or anything. They were just all.
I don't know why if you were homeless, you'd live somewhere where it gets cold.
Dude, for sure. I'm going to Southern California to be homeless.
Why would you live here?
Yeah.
Or why would you live in Denver?
I knew a guy that was homeless in California for a while, and I was like, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
He said he would basically panhandle for enough money for like a bus pass and a gym membership, because he could sleep on the bus if he took the long route. He could sleep on the bus and then he could go to the gym and shower. And I was like, you know what? Am I mad at that?
Yeah, that's all right.
Living the dream.
But he's made the comeback. He's he's got a home now.
He's probably less happier now.
I don't call them unhomed either.
No, you got to fucking actually go to work and like pay bills and shit.
But yeah, I don't call them unhomed. They're just homeless.
Unhoused.
Actually, I probably call them bums more.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I wouldn't say unhoused. Unhoused isn't right. It's definitely bum.
Yeah, and I think
homeless or bum.
I think homeless is like not always by like very. I mean, it's probably not by choice, but a bum is like by choice. Like you're just like you're there because you want to be.
Yeah.
Like
not about that working scene.
Yeah.
Like, whereas like homeless, maybe like something legitimately happened that like you're like, oh man, everything kind of fell at one time and I lost my house. Like, but I'm trying to work towards something else. But yeah, otherwise you're just a bum. But Matt thinks AI is going to take over the world. So
I don't know about taking over the world. So there's
like Pinky in the Brain.
Yeah, I can't remember the guy's name, but 3 or 4 years ago, Joe Rogan had a guy on who talked about AI, and he's like one of the foremost leading people on like AI development, not necessarily like building AI, but like what AI could be capable of, and talking about like the great singularity, where it's like the point at which AI becomes exponentially smarter than us, like instantaneous and stuff. And so that one of those clips popped up, and so I started going down the AI rabbit hole, and I heard this theory about related to the internet that is called the dead internet theory, and that has a lot to do directly with like the Chat GPT AIs that's out there, and how a significant portion of the internet is likely AI generated content and not really human generated content from like news articles, writings, stuff like that, because people leverage AI to monitor clicks and trends and find all that stuff. And so when a trend is noticed, they can now leverage on AI to write articles, retool search algorithms, to get more clicks and to jump yourself up to the top of the list, so that AI can intentionally or unintentionally drive algorithms and drive traffic because of those search algorithms.
So basically, it's
that
just
are out there.
it creates a circle, and AI is learning of itself.
Yeah, or
AI
AI
is doing the clicks on the AI stuff
Yeah.
that's been made. So then AI is like teaching itself how to become better at
Yeah.
teaching it do the thing.
Yeah,
doing
it's
the
like
thing
what
it's
gets
doing. Yeah.
clicks. Oh, if I do this, it gets clicks. Cool. Well,
But
you
then
have humans
those clicks
clicking,
are
and you
from
have AI
AI.
clicks.
Yeah.
And so it's just this kind of vicious circle of AI creating clicks. Like there was at some point somewhere out there, like 60% of traffic or 50% of traffic was at least partially AI driven to almost all websites. So it's like not humans actually clicking the button. It's AIs going out there, and they have similar things with like video streams. Like there are streaming farms that you can pay, where it's literally thousands of phones or unique SIM card addresses that will stream. So like we could contact them, and we can be like, hey, I need 5,000 views, and they'll be like, cool. We pay them money, and they will stream this podcast through 5,000 unique SIM cards or unique telephones, essentially, so that the algorithm recognizes that we had 5,000 either downloads or 5,000 unique views to drive up viewership. And so you can do that with AI too, to stream, to drive content, and to do all this stuff. So it's this potentially this large void of like human content on the internet that is being replaced by AI created content that can drive whatever narrative happens to happen. Kind of like the GameStop stock shorting, right? Like that all happened because of AI investing software, right? So it recognizes trends, and it's like, shit, it's going to get on that. Well, then all these other softwares and algorithms see what's happening, so they all do the same thing. So it's this huge snowball, and so that's what skyrocketed that GameStop and caused the whole market to be like, whoa, hold on a second, stop. Same thing can happen with search algorithms. Like if you've Google searched or just search through Google now, you'll get an AI response up top, and then you'll get links to websites below. So when you click on that AI response above, you feed into that, and it's like, okay, cool. People would rather see this than these. So it's either going to create more content like that, or it's going to drive you to more content like that.
It is just easier to click on the AI version, because usually it's a summary of all the websites.
Yeah, like the AI, the way that the GPTs work in very basic terms is when you have you guys played around with a Chat GPT at all?
I've never messed with it.
So we have a one through work. Now ours is kind of cool because none of the information that we put in there goes outside of it. It's kind of it's not a private one, but nothing that we put into there like feeds the AI machine. It's just all used internally. But so if I say I could go to a Chat GPT and I can tell it, write a 10-line story about a brown dog. It will essentially scour everything that's ever been written about dogs and about brown dogs, and it'll just write something, whatever the most popular.
How does that not feed the machine when it's getting out to the internet to get the?
So it can look at that stuff, but it doesn't. It's not passing like our asks. Like the information that we put in there isn't going out there. So it just goes out and it looks.
But
at that
is
stuff.
it? It's like where kids don't believe that
It's
Snapchat
kind
is
of-
out there anymore when
so
it deletes it.
I don't know the technicality of that part. I know our chief technology officer is very leery of our information going out and like feeding the machine so we don't end up building Terminators. And he told me that it doesn't feed to make it smarter and grow bigger. So I guess I'm going off of his word. But now if I go within that same GPT, so that GPT is now a brown dog author. And I say, okay, you are a love story poet specializing in Western European love stories of the 16th century, blah, blah, blah. But you tell it what it is and then say, oh, and by the way, write me a 10-line story about a dog. So now it refines its criteria down even more to all
So
those
do you even have to
things.
write school papers anymore?
No. Like you can, if you see enough of them, like you can tell that it's, like if you guys have heard those, like if you scroll through YouTube or even Instagram or something, there's like that AI generated voice that talks. Like
Yeah.
those are all like first iteration GPTs just creating that narrative and using it. So if you listen to those, like they're very, there's not as much human, I guess, emotion that comes through it. So when you read enough of them, you can kind of see like, oh yeah, this was GPT generated. But now there's a GPT-5 that's coming out that will be better. And again, you could run it through. So it could write me a story and I could say, make it funnier. Cool. Okay. Make it a little more satirical. All right, cool. And it will reiterate more and more and more because you're telling it what you want. And so again, it's not creating anything essentially new. There's nothing is a unique thought from the GPT. It is just essentially reading everything that's ever been written, finding things that meet the criteria of what you've given it, pulling that stuff together and then putting words together because again, it's like language learning software isn't that robust to like put sentences together. But when you start adding the GPT and all this stuff, like it's wild how it does that. So now once you have something built like that, it becomes pretty easy.
What is GPT? GPT. stand?
GPT, I don't know.
So later on, they just cut off the GP, then it's T1000.
Yep.
Okay.
They just call it Skynet. We can just,
Yeah.
I use Adobe Illustrator for like our t-shirt design stuff, and now it's added an AI thing where I can just type in like, I want a bald eagle flying past the American flag, and it'll draw it for you.
yeah. Yeah, so like the chat, so there's like an art GPT, chat GPT, there's all these different like GPTs out there. Yeah, and you can have them create art and create drawings and do these different things. But it all funnels back into like if we look at
It's a generative pre-trained transformer is what GPT stands for.
there we go.
Like I said,
They're probably
cut off the
they're probably
yeah.
they're probably Decepticons.
Oh, 100%. But so if you look at how that extrapolates out to the internet, like there's virtually no regulation on the internet. Like you could have social media stuff and like how Google steers stuff, but once AI starts getting involved there, AI can start driving content wherever. So if AI picks up on, we'll just say the Trump assassination attempt, right? It picks up on that. If it starts noticing tons and tons of searches for was Trump assassination conspiracy, right? So now it's going to scour the internet for all that stuff. It's going to know that, hey, everyone is looking for this. So let's find articles that have that. There are other GPTs out there that are identifying and like pushing, saying, hey, we found this, we found this, we found this. And others are pushing, saying, hey, I made this. And so now others are pulling things together to either get you a clickbait storyline or even a clickbait story to push to the top because that's what everyone's looking for. So now the algorithm that even though there were a large portion of people who were pushing for was the Trump assassination attempt a conspiracy, the more it goes on, the likelihood of the majority of those articles being human articles goes down and down. So now you have AI pushing. Again, it's not doing it maliciously. Its job is to just create clicks, and then that goes into the other piece it's the paperclip theory for AI, and so like if you're a paperclip company, and you're making paperclips, obviously, right? And you decide that, hey, I'm going to create this AI to make paperclips. So you create this AI and you say, hey, I need you to make paperclips. And it's like, got it, cool. So it starts making paperclips. And then you say, we need to be more efficient at making paperclips with what we have. Cool. So it's going to start doing iterations and look at stuff, and it's going to make more paperclips. And then you give it a few more instructions, and eventually you've pretty much told it, like, hey, we need to make as many paperclips as we can, as efficient as we can with the least cost, right? Because our job is to make paperclips. The more we can make for the less cost, the better our company does. This AI doesn't know anything about money. Like, it doesn't care. It just knows, I need to make paperclips. I need to make a lot of them. I need to make them for cheap. Go. So at some point you can't get enough materials in to satisfy the need. So the machine's like, cool, we'll just order some more. So it goes out and it reroutes and figures out how to get you the more paperclip materials to build paperclips. And then it's like, well, shit, I don't have it. I'm making so many paperclips. I don't have enough places to store them all. So we need another warehouse. So then it builds another warehouse. And this thing kind of keeps snowballing until one point, pretty soon, the neighborhood around the paperclip factory, the paperclip AI is like, oh, I need these houses to store my paperclips. So it starts going out and thinking of ways to, like, how do I store my stuff in this paperclip? And so it starts sending trucks to dump paperclips in people's driveways and put them in the garages. And then people are like, what the fuck, man? And so people start kicking out the paperclips because they don't want them in the house. Well, that goes against what the directive of this paperclip is. And the paperclip's like, oh, you are an obstacle to me making paperclips. Not that I hate you or I want to kill you. It's just like, you are no different than this road is out, so I have to find a new road to get the paperclips to the warehouse. So it's like, cool, people, I need to get rid of you. So, it does whatever, and it kills all the people in this area so it can store all the paperclips there. And then it keeps spanning, and now it can't mine enough material, so it's like, all right, I need cars. So it starts taking cars to build paperclips. And it just keeps expanding, but and eventually it sees humans as an obstacle to creating more paperclips. So it's like, all right, I guess the people have to go because they're trying to stop me from making paperclips. But again, in its view, humans are no different than a log being down across the road or a road being out. It's just an obstacle to overcome. So it's like, all right, cool. All the humans are dead? Great. So now it uses up all the resources on Earth. And it's like, well, shit, I still need to make paperclips. I need to make as many of them as I can. I need to make them for cheap. So now it starts looking out to the rest of the galaxy. And the theory, postulates, like, could this paperclip AI spread across the galaxy simply because all it's trying to do is make paperclips, and it has no shutdown, it has no guide rails to it. It's just like, I'm making paperclips, boop a doop a doo, and then we all die because we wanted
Paperclips.
That's how it's all gonna end. That's why I don't use AI.
That's
why I
how
don't use
it's gonna end.
paperclips. I like staples.
But in the other end, I'm sure our phones have been using AI forever anyway.
Yeah, I mean, there's all different levels of AI technology out there, and some of it's super awesome. Like there's some AI technology that we've seen bits and pieces of in the EMS environment to help diagnose and treat people with traumatic brain injuries and stuff, because it can digest speech patterns, it can digest biorhythms and all these biomarkers along with all these physical markers, and help determine, like, hey, the likelihood of this person having some kind of brain injury is X. Here's interventions that come up, and it can do it quicker and more efficiently than humans in a lot of cases. So there's some really cool things out there. But I think the dead internet theory, I think, is one that's worth looking into, because that's the one that's real and is probably here. The fact that
everything's going to be AI generated.
Like, we're running into an internet that's no longer human content created. It's AI created on the premise of, how do I get more clicks and how do I get to the top of the algorithm?
But do you think it just goes back to we just go back to the yellow pages then?
I don't think so. I mean, there's too much cool stuff in that technology. And there's no way to put AI back in the bottle. Because, I mean, it's capitalism. There's a lot of companies that, I mean, we're leveraging AI to do a lot of underwriting work.
So what's that mean for you? Because you're an underwriter.
Yeah. I mean, at some point, AI will probably be smart enough to do what we're trying to do.
So does that eliminate you then, is what I'm saying?
At some point, probably.
I just asked it how to grow your podcast. It says, identify your target audience.
Be better.
Optimize your podcast for discoverability. So basically, get on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google, Stitcher.
Oh,
Never heard of that.
Stitcher is.
Is Stitcher
Optimize your podcast title, description,
Stitcher
and
sounds like a
episode
bad
titles
guy
with
Batman.
relevant keywords. So clickbait.
Mm-hmm.
Create a dedicated podcast website. Buid an email list. Create an email list to maintain direct communication with your audience. Offer exclusive content, or resources in exchange for email signups. Use this list to share updates about new episodes and engage with listeners.
OnlyFans.
Leverage guest appearances. Invite guests who have established audiences in your niche. Then promote that episode featuring them on their platform.
I think we should go with the only Grands idea still, where it's just grandma telling people how to do things.
Utilize social media effectively. Repurpose content into video format. Run ad campaigns. Monitor analytics and adjust strategies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so the monitor analytics one, like I'll find the video and send it to you guys, but the one from Veritasium where he like does all this experimentation with how to get clicks and views and like how the thumbnail changes and how the title changes and how these algorithms will check, I don't know, within the first 5 to 10, 15 minutes of a podcast going out there, it'll look to see what kind of traffic it's getting. And if it's not getting traffic that is in like the acceptable zone, it comes back with some recommendations based on what you've done in the past, along with what other videos are trending at that it deems to be similar in nature, what their thumbnails are showing, what their titles are showing. And then it comes back and says, hey, let's try this. And you can either like let it run or you can change that. But if you look at, there's a bunch of videos, like if you don't click on them right away and you just like scroll through them, you'll see thumbnails change and the titles of these videos will change because the traffic, they're trying to optimize traffic that comes through there. And all of that is AI driven.
That's probably also where like some of the shadow bans come from. I'm guessing AI searching titles and doing different stuff like that where they kind of...
I'm sure there's AI that listens to everything that's put on YouTube and it finds like words in there that it doesn't like and flags videos or whatever. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
That's pretty deep down the old rabbit hole there.
Yeah, be careful with AI and make yourself unreplaceable. That's really what it comes down to.
That'd be ideal. I mean, fortunately, it'll be a hot minute before I think AI can do everything, but I mean, it's pretty good depending on how fast it grows. Like if you think about AI at some point, like, I don't know, we have a Nobel Prize, let's just say in physics every year. And maybe there's 3 or 4 Nobel worthy ideas that come out every year. Like if you have an AI that can do one every hour, like that's exponentially more intelligent than us. And like every minute, every second, like at some point, the AIs will be so advanced and so fast that it's like that singularity where it's just such an exponential up curve that like comparing to our intelligence, it's not even close anymore.
Way to give everybody hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it'll happen. AI is going to, yeah. I mean, the paperclip companies are what you got to watch out for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good thing I don't ever buy paper clips, so.
Like I said, I like staples.
Everyone needs to stop buying paper clips today.
Yeah. Mainly because just use email.
We're going paperless. We don't need paper clips.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
True. Okay, well, Matt really followed up that shit story with doom and gloom, so that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both kind of shitty.
Oh, bazinga.
Where's the...
It's too far down there.
I gotta make. I gotta
you
get
do
like
like
a
a little,
fucking
yeah,
table going here.
You need
DJ
like a
stand or
Nintendo
something.
Power Glove that you can just do it with.
The Power Glove was the shit. I never got to use it, but it looks so cool. Do you remember like the cartoon Nintendo Power?
Dude, I had a Power Glove. You didn't have a Power Glove?
No.
I remember my little fat ass
I was
sweating.
gonna say that's why you weighed so much.
Sweating so bad. Playing Punch Out with that thing on. Almost died. Cardiac arrest in
I had one.
grandma's living room.
I had one of the
playing
pads.
Dude,
Like
trying to
the track pad?
because it looks
Yeah.
so cool. You're like, yeah. I'm like,
How about, do you remember the Nintendo
Just got
robot?
my ass kicked by Glass Joe. A Nintendo robot.
Remember it would pick up and move the thing to open up the columns for you? It would watch the game.
Oh,
And it would move the shit for you. Like, it was like a game where you had to go and there's like these different doors you had to open, and the robot would watch and it would move. It had like a top basically spin. I would move it to a different spot, and it would, when it would put pressure, it would open. It was like running the controller for you. Yeah. But I had the trackpad though. We could run track on it.
Trackpad for the different track event. I want to say someone had a Power Glove, but I don't remember. I remember having it on, but I don't remember.
Do you remember the cartoon though? Nintendo Power.
Kind of remember
His
it.
controller with the belt buckle was his controller.
I remember
he had
the
the power
Power
pad.
Glove being very disappointed because it did not work at all like it
Yeah.
did on the TV.
Of course not.
Yeah, I was very disappointed.
It was great. That was the good version of AI.
Yeah. Yeah, the gun on Duck Hunt. It's pretty accurate. It was actually pretty accurate.
But it was just a camera, wasn't it? That just like looked at the screen,
I think so.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
which is why like you couldn't be too close or it couldn't register that it was the actual duck.
Yeah.
And like it flashed, so it would like take a snapshot of the. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the good AI. And that dog would always come out and laugh at you. The motherfucker.
I
Right.
wanted to shoot that dog so bad.
Go, just drown
Right,
that
yeah.
motherfucker.
Yeah. The clay
That's
pigeons
funny,
were
huh?
the clay pigeons were hard as shit on that game.
Yeah, they were. They're smaller.
Yeah. And then they went away. That's made that sound.
Nightmares about that sound.
Did you ever play Super Scope 6
No.
on Super Nintendo?
Yes.
It was like the bazooka.
Yep.
Yeah, that game was fucking pretty fun.
Yep.
You always had to calibrate it though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they don't make any weapons like that anymore, do they? I haven't seen one on the game forever.
I saw one that's for like a Call of Duty type game. I don't know if it's that or Counter-Strike or something, but it's almost just looks like black PVC that you put your controllers in. And so like when you reload, you can actually like slide it back. Or like if it's a pump shotgun, like you slide it back and like you can load and put like a little optic on there. Like, hey, you snap your controllers into it. So maybe it's on, I don't know what has like 2 different hand controllers, one of the VR things maybe.
Oh, yeah. Could be
Like
VR, could be a
Oculus or
Switch.
something. Yeah, but it was one of those where you can put it on there. And so you have like an actual like gun frame.
Nice.
They do need to make video games like Ready Player One, where you put on the VR set and then you're like on a pad and you can actually run and like then everybody maybe they'd be less fat.
It's true. There's.
know?
I mean, it didn't help you.
But I didn't have a fucking pad like
Yeah,
that.
the power pad. The power
Yeah,
glove,
the
though.
Power Glove. And I'm like,
One of the VRs has like a platform that it doesn't have rollers. It's like almost a frictionless surface that you put like essentially
booties on?
slippers on. Yeah, and you stand on it and you can run and jump and do whatever, but it doesn't have rollers or anything.
so it's like the slider on heavyweights,
Yes.
like where you're sliding back. What is that thing called?
Well, you just shuffle side
Yeah,
to
Oh,
side.
there's a slide board.
Feeling skinny, Tony.
I think the better one I've
Slide.
seen too is like the VR where you basically get in that like little round thing or whatever, and it stops you from side to side.
Yeah.
But I don't know if if you keep putting pressure on it, if it makes you like you're moving on the screen. Do you know what I mean? Like if you keep pushing into the sidebar, does it make
Yeah.
your character move sideways?
The one I'm thinking of like only moves. So your actual position moves depending on how you move your feet. But it has.
Yeah, see, I want to be able to
cameras.
really move around.
But it
that.
has cameras, so if like you lean, it will lean. Like it'll show that you lean. So if you wanted to poke your head around a corner, you could lean and look around a corner and then come back, or you could crouch and you can jump.
Like I think some of the earlier VRs, like 6-8 years ago, you could perimeter off your room, basically GPS the room to the game, and then you knew how far you could go.
They just need to make one with the ball, kind of like that treadmill you got out there that doesn't have a motor, but it goes 360. So, and then you're in like this little halo thing. You're locked in there.
Remember
You got
Virtual
control
Boy?
Virtual Boy.
No.
There was that Game Boy, Nintendo made it. It was just like the little fucking VR thing. It was red.
Oh man, no, I don't remember that.
I never got to play one. I got looked at one at Toys R Us one time.
I saw one.
Watch
I
the
knew
rich
I knew
kids buy it.
Yeah, fucking womp womp.
Probably didn't fucking work like it's supposed to anyway, like that shit ass Power Glove.
Well, it was probably just fucking like a Game Boy, like where it's very digitized,
yeah,
but it was just like on your eyes.
Yeah. I know I had a friend that had like one of the, I don't know if it was one of the first VRs, but it was like, it had a big red mask, but the only game it had was you flew around and you shot these little triangles.
Was that Virtual Boy?
I don't know. It was shit. Like it was terrible. Like it kind of made the little triangles you were shooting look 3D, but it was 2D triangles in a 3D environment. So it was very, very strange.
Yeah, right here, Virtual Boy. It was a Nintendo console.
Yep, that's what it was. Yeah, it was like
Kinda
That fucking
cheap.
fucking thing is $380. I bet it wasn't $380
Fucking
new.
Cheesy. So
it was
cheesy.
it was trash.
Yeah, I bet it wasn't $380 new. Yeah, look at that fucking thing. Sporty.
Yep, that was it.
So you did play one. Oh, there's the game. It had like Mario Tennis and shit on it.
That looks absolutely horrible.
It's just basically Game Boy in your eyes.
Yeah, it was.
And
It
it's
was
red.
awful.
It was all red. Yeah, it's literally just a Game Boy in your eyes. Like
Like
it
all
wasn't.
those red lasers they say not to point in eyeballs. That's
There it is.
exactly what that.
But it's just funny because they call it Virtual Boy, but you don't have to move. It's not like a VR,
still
like
sitting there, you're just
augmented
like-
Yeah,
reality.
because I remember like you had to have it on a table and you put your head up to it. Like you didn't wear the headpiece. It had like a tripod that you set it on, and like you just put your head there.
Actually, you know what's cool is I have a little who makes it, but it's a bow, and you can do augmented reality. So you can walk around your yard, and your phone snaps on it with an app, and you can be turning in your yard, and there'll be like a fucking bear, and you have to shoot it with your bow. But it'll like as you're moving on the screen. You can walk around and do all kinds of shit. Amber and I were fucking going after it. And we were in the living room one day though.
Let's just do that out here in the gym.
Yeah, it's pretty cool though, and I can't remember what it's called, but they're like it's a good way, it's a way you can just work on
Yeah.
your bow stuff. Well, yeah. So, well, that's what we learned today. Don't feed AI too much,
Yep. And don't buy paper clips.
and
sucked.
and don't get shit on your face,
Oh, that was.
and check hotel plumbing
Yeah.
before you take a shit. If the hotel plumbing's bad, you just go shit by the front desk and leave it to them.
I think don't get shit on your face is just like good life advice.
Yeah, I mean even shit on your hand sucks, but
Some people are probably into it.
also true.
I've seen those videos. They're gross.
So yeah, take that information how you will, and try to be a little less shitty everywhere and every day. Thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, share, follow. Tell people you don't like us or do. It's whatever. Let's get that algorithm better.
Yeah. Go AI.
And we'll see you guys next time.